Hey, welcome back. My name is Holly-Beth, and here is where I update and document everything handmade in my life, from my knitting to yarn making and my little handmade business. In these videos I have project vlogs from the whole month through to show what I'm working on and like how it's going. I'll also quickly go through this all at the end as well, very quickly. We also keep track of yarn usage and adoption too, and then we add this up at the end of the month for our yarn de-stash, which I'll have some more big information on that soon, as that's a big video behind the scenes right now. And overall I just vlog what I'm up to and what the month looked like, which allows me to see how that affected my making time and what we actually end up achieving month by month. But of course at the start of every month we talk about our plans, hopes, goals for the month ahead. So since today is the 1st of the month of March, let's get straight into starting with that. So my plans for this month. Firstly, I would really like to finish my storm sweater. It's so close to being done, and there's a very good chance that the video that goes into more depth than this one will already be out now. This is Knit with some Stash on, which is Santa's Garn in both the colours 2531, which is a beige colour, and 2564, which is the brown colour. This is being paired with Drops Kids Silk Mohair in the colours 20, which is light beige, and 35, which is called chocolate. Projects I really want to start this month include the Birthday Wish scarf by Julie Peng, which looks like this. For this I'll use my leftovers from my Beastick mini scarf, and that was knit with Knitting for Olive Soft Silk Mohair. That's in the colour Havre. Isaiah Marilyn, which is colour, I think it's just 0E. I'm not entirely sure. And the Anemone sweater by Pernille Larsen. This sweater is supposed to be knit in Knitting for Olive, but I couldn't justify the price right now, so I'm also using stash yarn for this, and it's an absolute mixture, so I'll go into more detail with that when I get to that project. But it's going to be a mix of alpaca and wool mohair yarn. I'm so excited. This has been on my knit list for years, and I really hope that I can start that this month. The Weekend Headband by PetiteKnit is also on my radar for this month. I've had a really small amount of PetiteKnit in my stash for years now, and it would be actually really quite nice to use it and get that out of stash. This isn't necessarily a high priority for this month, but it's worth mentioning because it's, you know, since it's on my mind. I have some swatching to do this month, and this will include, of course, the Anemone sweater, but also 3 others. The Brady Loop sweater by Other Loops, which I'm hoping I'll be able to knit in a lilac coloured tin PetiteKnit, also a lilac coloured Larsen Garn Plum mohair. The Moby slipper by PetiteKnit. This would be possibly using a few different options, which is why I need to swatch and test. This includes Santa's Garn Alpaca in grey. I have some Erica Knight yarns, British Blue Wool 100 in the colour 605. That's just to name a few off the top of my head. Also Cascade 220. And finally the Picnic Vest by Hannah Coe, which is a beautiful gingham colourworks slipover vest. More specifically, I fell in love with one of the projects on this patterns page from Vivian Yu. One of the first yarns I ever bought when I got back into knitting more seriously back in 2021, I think, was this red Santa's Garn merino. The scarf I had didn't really plan out in the end, and I do actually have a short of me frogging that scarf too. But either way, this yarn has just kind of been sat for years just waiting for a project for it. There's not enough there for a whole sweater, so a sweater vest is going to be perfect for it. I have a few different white and cream merino colours in my stash, so it's just finding one that gives the best look and like mix together that I'm looking for. And of course this month I also want to try and power through some of my smaller cakes, skeins and scraps and see what I can do with them to use those up. So with that, let's see how many of these I can get done, and I hope that you'll want to join me during the next month of making. Let's do it! But first, we've got a tiny bit of catching up to do. Oh no. Okay, so I am completely freehand in this bit, but I wasn't quite ready to record a whole month roundup tonight. But I thought that since I am wearing it, I've just recorded a whole like intro for a completely different thing. But I thought that since I was wearing it, I could kind of go through some of the details of this that I'm wearing, because I did finish this month in January. Well, no, it's not January anymore, but it's in January 2025, which is wild. 2025. I started on this in November, probably the first week of November, because I was in Norway at the time. I started it there. I took my yarn over with me. The yarn is Drops Charisma. The pattern is also a Drops pattern. Just a quick, because I don't think I've ever touched on this, because I've never made a Drops pattern before, I don't think. And I did find about a Reddit post which was talking about, like, you know, why do people talk about drops in a specific way but don't actually explain it. So we're talking about Drops design. They have loads, a whole massive catalogue over the years of free designs. All of their designs are free. With this can come some issues where there has been a couple of instances that I could possibly name from seeing them online or in this Reddit post being discussed, that they have copied other designers' work, and I have my own opinions about this. There's definitely a lot of similarities there. There's been situations which this has happened, but this is down to your own personal decisions. A lot of Drops patterns are really pretty, and there's not really anything else like it out there. So some patterns I think are okay. Some patterns, if you think they look too close to something else, I think it's down to your own personal judgment as well to decide if you want to make that, or if you could make one that's vaguely similar that you like maybe more, that supports a independent designer, for example. Alas, I hadn't found anything like this one before, and when they did their vote back in summer, I guess it would have been 2024, I voted on this. It's the first one I'd ever voted on, and I wanted this to become a pattern so bad, and it did, and I made it. I love it. It's I think honestly my favorite jumper, my favorite sweater that I own, that I've made. It just is. It is called the Mushroom Season Sweater. As I said, it's a free pattern. This is the adult size. The sizes go from small to 3XL on this one. For reference, I would argue I'm not very often medium, but in the large, extra large category of most mainstream knitwear designers, I am as of right now, a 107 centimeter bust circumference. I made the third size in this drops pattern, which is the large. As I said, I use Drops Charisma. This is a superwash 100% wool yarn. I was aware that it was superwash, so I consciously made an effort to go for a smaller size, knowing I'd probably get the ease I want because the superwash yarn will grow, particularly in blocking. I'm glad I did, but it didn't really properly sink into my brain you're using a superwash yarn until like once I was getting to the colour work, and I was like, oh, I need to think about the length that I'm doing of the sleeves, the body, all of that. So I put that into consideration, and I think personally, as of right now, it's only been washed and blocked once. I've nailed it. I'm very happy. It is knit in the exact colours that the sample is shown in, the main colour being light beige, colour 85, and the contrast / colour work colours are light olive, which is colour 45, wine red, which is colour 48, light beige brown, which is colour 55, and moss green, which is colour 87. All of those little colours, you only need 150-gram skein of each. I still have leftover of the light beige, probably because I made it shorter, because I have learned over time that I like my jumpers in particular to be more cropped. I am quite an odd shaped but curvy shaped person, and doing jumpers full length just doesn't look good on my body type, my body shape, and I've learnt that, and that's something that I'm happy to adjust, and it takes less yarn. I'm fine. I did change the cuffs. I added colour work. There's no colour work in the pattern, but I wanted that. I omitted quite a few things from the pattern. In regards to the cuffs, you're supposed to like rapidly increase at the cuffs. I didn't do that because I thought superwash yarn, that's going to flare. No, I'm good, and I'm glad I didn't. I love my cuffs. I think they're great. I just kept it to the amount that I was supposed to be at. I did the sleeves wrong because I read the wrong size, as I had already knit like that much of them. So I committed to that. So that's slightly different, but that's in my Ravelry notes. I also did the hems longer. I certainly did a slightly longer back hem than a front hem, but I kind of just went until I was going to run out of the yarn of the ball that I was using, but I ended up having to add another one anyway, so that was kind of irrelevant. I'm pretty happy with it. My first proper colourwork project. I'm so proud of it. Also, just to touch on it as well, there is a lot of people that will say that they don't recommend a drops pattern to a beginner. I do agree, but I don't think they are horrific. Like, they're absolutely unfollowable because I have managed to do this absolutely fine. Granted, I'm not necessarily, I probably wouldn't call myself a beginner anymore. Definitely more into that sort of immediate area. Once you work out the way that it's laid out and where the pattern starts and what they actually want you to do, I'm very much someone that reads through it all, and does it section by section. And I also print these out as well, so you have them online, but you can also print out the pattern. I don't know if there's an actual section where you can just save it, but if you, whilst you're on the website, if you press the little printer button, it will give you the option, it will give you the prompt and the pop-up to print it, but also it will give you the option to save it. That's what I did. I saved it as a PDF. I'm sure most people know that, but just in case you don't, that makes it a lot easier to read because you don't have all these other things going on, and you can actually see it page to page what part is what. Sizing is quite a bit of a pain to work out. Now I've done one thing from drops, I feel like it's going to be easier to manage other patterns as well, because there are so many patterns that I do like that I will be making. I don't think that's necessarily hurting anyone, that's what I want to do. They give you like a schematic, which is always at the bottom, which is silly, and it basically just gives you like all the measurements. So when it's laid flat, it gives you the measurements from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, shoulder to how long, and the width of the bottom of the jumper. If you knit a few mainstream patterns that usually use bust circumference, and I think they kind of go off of that as the main thing. You kind of have to do a bit more workings out and then work out how much positive ease, because they also don't suggest in these patterns how much positive or negative ease that they think you should have in the drops patterns. Like, that's another reason why I think it doesn't suit a beginner, because at that point you don't really know what those things mean. Like, you could know what they mean on paper, but in practice it's a bit different. But it's certainly not impossible. I actually really enjoyed knitting this. The stranded colour, like the ferret, like I loved it. The doing the double colours, I felt like I was doing magic. It was wild. I will absolutely be knitting another drops pattern. I will absolutely be probably knitting this again in a smaller size, the kids size, and also I do like the cardigan skirt still, but I don't know if I want to do it flat. I'll think about it. There's also short rows at the back as well, but I just wanted to, whilst I was wearing it, talk about it because I'm really happy with it, and yeah, I love it. Okay, I put in a Wool Warehouse order and it's arrived, so I'm gonna go through it. First things first, this should be a cross stitch kit, which I think I'm gonna do last because I'm kind of excited about that one. I got 8 drops bell. This should be in the colour Pearl 26, and this is to make a rainy days tee by Sari Nordland, so I'm excited about that one. Probably going to cast that on super soon. I got 2 of the Stylecraft batik in Sage Jade. Did I get an invoice? I don't think I did. In the colour Sage. It was Sage. I have used this yarn before. I used it for a Sophie scarf. I had the colour Biscuit. It was gifted to me. I had 2 gifted to me. I got a Sophie scarf out of not even a full 1 skein. I didn't expect it to be quite so dark. This was on sale and I got sad because even though it is, it's not 100% what I would like to work with fibres wise, because it's only 20% wool, the rest of it's acrylic. I loved working with it. And I think it looks beautiful. It's really soft and it goes really far. So I wanted to get 1 or 2 of these so I can make myself maybe a Sophie shawl in these colours. I panicked thinking that they were being discontinued. I don't know if they are, but they're still on sale. So I don't know. So I got 2 of those. There's 3 more project based things. So I'll go through this next. And this is just absolutely gorgeous. Oh, okay. It's a bit more blue as I expected it to be, but it's still pretty. I got a Cascade 220 hank, and this is so that I could do a test swatch / if I like it I'll buy more so I can get the same dye lot. I think this was for the Ingrid slipover. So I'd seen that other people had used Cascade and I kind of thought that would be the closest thing. I've been looking at this for a long time and I wanted it in like a grey heather, and this one is definitely that. It's definitely more grey bluey green heather, but I like it. So I got 1 of these. Then I have this whole thing still left. These are a little bit more grey than I was expecting. It's my fault. I went for a beige instead of a cream, and maybe I should have gone for the cream, but it's okay. I got 5 the Drops Kid Silk mohair in the colour 20. I wanted to get these for my Storm sweater. I had been working on swatches for that, and it was using Sandnesgarn alpaca. It was a discontinued yarn I found ages ago. Found some more winter just gone, and in the same dye lots, so that was kind of wild. It's not quite the same colour as this, but I'm hoping it's going to be okay. So I've got 5 of these, and then I also got 3 of the chocolate colour, because my plan is to hold it with these alpaca and I'm going to stripe it. I hope I've got enough. I hope I'm going to work this out, but that's going to be for my Storm sweater. I'm probably going to cast this on also quite soon because I'm quite excited about it. And then finally, in this bag left is just Drops alpaca, and what this is for a Knitting for Olive pattern. I wanted to use the Knitting for Olive yarn. I can't justify the price tag. This was already quite a lot to get the yarn for it, and it would have cost like 1/3 more of the price, maybe even double. So this isn't everything because I am still missing some colours because they're actually in stash, because I'm trying to actively use my stash. I'm trying to de-stash It's a big old marathon that I've started doing, but I'm particularly in 2025 I'm proper kickstarting. Obviously I know they've bought a lot of yarn. This is for a specific project, but I've already got 2 of the mohairs and 1 of the colours, so I didn't have to buy more of this, but it's gonna be so pretty. It is like a flower colourwork sweater and I'm really excited. I have mohair coming for it. That is coming from Denmark, so it's taking a little bit longer to arrive, but I'm excited. I stopped recording and then I realised I hadn't actually gone through my cross stitch. Let's go through that, shall we? So it's this little guy. I'm really excited about it. It was on clearance, it's like discontinued, and I was watching it for a while, and yeah, it was still there, so I'm excited. It's a little bit smaller than I was expecting it to be, but I'm actually happier about that. So that's also on sale. I think there's probably 2 left as of right now. If you want one, go to a warehouse and grab them before they go. But yeah, that's everything. So it's a big order, but I'm excited because everything in here has a purpose and a project attached to it, whether it's that I can start the project straight away because it's all the yarn I need, or it's stuff that I'm still waiting for to get. And the only thing really, I guess, is not 100% confirmed is this. That's fine. Let's get through this yarn. I've just been working out sort of swatches and measuring those, and I started casting on this romper here, which is so cute, but I have kind of got to a point where I'm a bit stuck because in the pattern it's saying like the numbers aren't adding up. So I've sent, I don't know if they'll reply. I really hope they do because I want to knit on it. Failing that, I'll just guess. But I've sent the designer a message on Ravelry and I'm really hoping that they will message back. I'm so desperate to get this knitting on because it's so cute. Look at this romper. I could probably get rid of these ones actually. So I don't need these markers down here anymore. Isn't this cute? My goodness. Isn't it? Isn't it so cute? So I'm using this yarn from Hobbycraft. It's called Pickle Chops. I've looked at this for so long and it's so soft. It's 50% acrylic, 50% polyamide, which I don't usually like to work with too much, but this is like the equivalent. It's softer than Drops Daisy because it's obviously acrylic, but that's kind of like what I'm comparing it to. Is it feels so nice. So I feel like this is going to make a really nice romper. I do also have 2 different colours. So I have like this beige kind of colour, and then I also got like this colour as well, and I just thought that it was so cute. And worst comes to worst, I feel like as well, if I was to make one of each in the one, I'm a bit worried about how this is going to colour pool, especially in back and front and then in the round and then back and front. But I'm just thinking when I run out of yarn and you only have a little bit of each. Like I could just mix them together, you know? That was my thought anyway. But yeah, I'm a bit stuck because the pattern isn't making sense. So I don't know how many repeats I need to do in this section here, because there's 2 different parts to this pattern. She's written it out completely, and there's also like what she's called her cheat sheet table, where if you've knit this before you can just look at the numbers, and both of them are different. So I don't know which one's which. I don't know if either of them are right. I assume probably the cheat sheet's right. Send her a message and hopefully she replies, because I really want to knit on this. I am kind of tempted to start the other bits, like put this bit on hold, get the front bit done, so that when she does hopefully reply, I can connect in the round and start in the round. Because I wanted to have, like, before I started my next jumper, even though I want to cast on like 4 right now, I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to get a baby project done. I think I might just move on to the next part, and then I'll just kind of be stuck until she replies. She might reply tonight, I don't know. I don't expect her to reply tonight at all. I think that's what I'm gonna do. But I didn't really want to open up a new skein. I don't know how much to take off, so I suppose I could pull from the outside, but I don't like doing that, especially when it's like this. Like I could just pull from the outside, couldn't I? It's fine, I need to get over myself. But yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start at the front and then just leave the back sort of hanging for now. Let's do that. This is still on hold, and I've just finished the little bottom bit for the buttons. I'm gonna go grab some dinner though, and then I will continue with this after dinner and after I've done some editing, because I have some editing to do. Let's do that, and then I'll do the increases, and then once I've done that, then I can't really go any further with this. So, but yeah, it's looking cute. I don't remember the last time I actually did like a little check-in, and I'm quite sick, so please excuse my voice and current state. I think the last time I actually spoke about this, I was waiting for the design to get back. It only took a few days. They were fantastic, super understanding. They fixed the pattern, got it sent straight back out, and I was able to finish the back part and join in the round, and I've been doing the round. I have tried to switch my knitting over to like a Norwegian style, but I think it's gonna take a while to get the hang of that as an English knitter. I've just finished the round part. I've got to the amount of centimeters I need for this part, and I'm about to now split again. These parts are split to the front and the back. This yarn is so nice to work with as well, but it is so flippin' soft, and this pattern is adorable. Hi, it's quite a lot later into the year because, as I was saying in the last good few mini clips, I got really quite sick and I completely lost my voice. I was really not that good. But even so, it is time for our end of the month roundup. And in regards to our plans that we set out at the start of the month, I think we did okay. We did complete some of them, being some of the swatches and using up some stash and scrap yarns. So the swatches, we did the Anemone sweater, and also 3 more that I didn't even mention at the start, which was the Brady Loop sweater by Other Loops, the Kerr sweater by Rebecca Clow, and the Chill jumper by Contour Knit, which I already have one. I did the test knit for her for this sweater and I loved it so much. I love the jumper so much, but I really want to make another one that doesn't pill quite so much than the Drops Daisy did that I did the test knit in. So I did all of those. And I also swatch-wise, I of course swatched for the Waterfall Romper, which is a project I started and I also finished this month. So let's start talking about that. Here it is. This is a pattern by, I think it's pronounced Aethalia O'Connor, on Ravelry, and it was really fun to do. As I mentioned during the month, there was a few errors with this pattern, with like the numbers, but they replied within a couple of days with a fix, and overall just a pleasure to have that short, brief contact with. I would absolutely knit this again, and I already have plans to with the rest of the yarns that I used for this. And for this, the yarn was Pickle Chops by Knitcraft, which is Hobbycraft's own brand. Hobbycraft is a chain craft hobby store here in the UK, just in case you're not familiar with that as well. Pickle Chops is 50% acrylic and 50% no it's not, yes it is, no, 50% nylon. And honestly it is incredibly soft. I forgot how soft this yarn is. I'm not 100% sure how this will hold up over time because it is so soft, like through use, but it was a dream to knit with. I used some coconut shell buttons, I believe that's what they're called, and oh my goodness, does anyone else have like a really difficult time to try and find buttons, like specific buttons? I've been finding the process of finding buttons so difficult at times. Either way, this romper is finished and is ready to be gifted when the opportunity comes up for it, and it's just absolutely lovely. As for yarn totals, because that's how I think I'm going to do this, I'm going to do yarn totals at the end of each project that we finish. We used a total of 64 grams for this romper, and it is in the 3 to 6 month size as well. Staying with baby knits, I used a bit more of my little cakes and scraps from my stash and made a pair of baby Selbu mittens. This is a pattern by, I'm also not sure how to pronounce this, but Katrinine, possibly. But as you can see, I did mine as a plain pair without the colour work, which is what is in the pattern. This is because I wanted to test the pattern first, like a plain pair, and use up some stash so I can then have a bit more confidence later when I decide to do the colour work. I think these are for sure a newborn size, but I do think that they are still a little bit small, so I think I may just have to adjust what needle size I use next time. As I said, these were very small scraps or cakes that I had in my stash for a very long time, so I don't have any branded ball bands or anything like that to give. But for yarn totals, I used a total of 8 grams for the multicoloured yarn cake and 15 grams of the mint green yarn cake. So that's a total of 23 grams for this pair of baby mitts out of my stash. Then finally this month, as you can see, I did indeed finish my storm sweater, which is a pattern by PetiteKnit, and it was a whip in February. There will already be a video out on my channel that goes into more depth of the whole process of me knitting this, but it's just become one of my all-time favourite, not just knits, but just pieces of clothing as well. It fits exactly how I want it to, and the colours, and I think the placements as well of like how these look really good together. The best part is how I use that stash yarn though. So just to go through some yarn totals for that too. For the Drops Kid Silk mohairs, I used 32 grams of the chocolate colour and 107 grams of the light beige mohair colour, and the grand finale, if you will, for the Sanders Gone alpaca yarn that had been in my stash for years. I used 135 grams of the brown and 378 grams of the beige, resulting in 652 grams of my stash being used in this sweater, which honestly I think is not too bad at all. So in total we used 739 grams of yarn this month of March in finished projects. I won't be going through it all individually now, but just to round off the year so far, in January I used 560 grams of Drops Charisma, and this was entirely for and on my mushroom season sweater. In February I used 1073 grams during the Finish It February video that I will link above as well. However, there was 2 projects that were also finished in February that I didn't feel were necessarily part of that Finish It February section, and that was a beanie for my partner and the black custom cat crochet commission that I had as well during that month. The beanie used 57 grams of the Miskunn alpaca wool, and it was in like a really pretty forest green colour. I still have a little bit left of that as well. And the little crochet cat, that used 35 grams of a really lovely chenille yarn, which was King Cole Yummy, and it was in the colour black. So actually in total for February we used 1,165 grams. We did get more yarn though, which you saw, and that in itself added up to 3,720 grams. It was a big order. So that's how our March month went, and all of our yarn totals for the year up to date. So I really hope that you enjoyed this monthly video vlog style thing. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.